What is the first thing that comes to your mind when it is time for the exams? Is it the fear of being tested? Do you just think of how much you have to study? Do you immediately start thinking about the results? Do you feel quietly confident, or is it just fear that takes over your mind? There is nothing wrong with having a little bit of nervousness just before your exams. It would be quite normal. But if all that you feel is fear, and if your thoughts get completely clouded by this fear, then you need to get back in control. My name is Latha, an International Coaching Federation certified success coach and a certified NLP master practitioner. And in this video, I will tell you how you can manage your exam anxiety and help you perform well so you can achieve excellent grades in your school or college. And before we proceed, subscribe to our channel, simple as that, so you can gain all the knowledge required to make your school or college life a lot easier. Being anxious is fairly normal. Everybody faces some amount of anxiety, like on the first day of your school or college, your first day at office, during interviews, during presentations at school or at work, the first time you try to log in to your online classes, the first big game you are about to play, and this list can go on. Everyone faces some levels of anxiety in such situations, but what you should watch out for is when anxiety begins to take the center stage in your mind and all that remains in your mind is fear. Before we really look at how to curb your anxiety, you need to figure out why you get anxious or nervous. Only when you fully understand what makes you anxious will you be able to fix the problem of anxiety. I do not believe in short-term hacks because hacks do not always address the root of the problem. That is the way I like to work with all my clients. I want to address not just the symptom but the root cause so you can have long-term solutions. And with long-term solutions, you can be rest assured that the issue will not recur. Now, your exams are still a few months away and you still have the time to prepare well, and hence I am putting this video out now and not just a week before everyone's exams, so you can have enough information which will help you handle the exam anxiety. So, what are some of the reasons that you get nervous? The first reason for anxiety would be if you are always unprepared and you begin studying only when your exams are nearing. The only sure shot way to be able to handle the exam pressure is to be well prepared. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. If you begin studying at the last minute, a couple of days before your exams, there is no way to avoid all the anxiety, stress, and tension. Being well prepared has to be the platform on which your battle against exam stress has to be fought on. If you are not going to be well prepared, you can give yourself all the pep talk you want or try to be as positive as you can, but deep down, you would know that all your attempts are hollow because you are well aware that you are not fully prepared. This bit of truth will negate every bit of positivity and pep talk you attempt. So, do not underestimate the need to be well prepared. If you truly want to be in control of your stress levels, start early, way early before your exams, and do not wait till the last few days to pick up your books and rush with your studies. If you are well prepared for your exams, it is more than half the battle won. This has to start from the very first day you step into your class. Always stay attentive. when you are being taught. While in class, stay focused on the teachings. If you are unable to understand, always be bold enough to ask again. Just because you ask a couple of questions to understand the topics better, it does not make you any less intelligent than anyone else. And if there is someone who mocks you for asking doubts, it is only due to their own insecurity. They would know deep down that they are not as perfect as they claim to be. To understand more on how to deal with bullies, watch my video Say No to the Bullies, and the link is in the description below. Everything becomes a lot easier when you understand, and the same goes with your studies too. When you focus on understanding what is being taught, it makes it a lot easier to learn as opposed to just trying to memorize the entire book. Students who read the subjects without understanding the information will always end up more anxious before exams as compared to the ones who have understood it all. So, if you understand the lessons while they are being taught, you would have scaled the toughest part of the mountain. From then on, all you have to do is to remind yourself what you have learned. Every time you go over the lesson, you will quickly remember what was taught because you already have understood it. Trust me, this is a lot easier than having to memorize tons of words. When you do not understand, everything will seem like nothing more than a load of gibberish. Do not let that happen. While in class, you could ask questions to clear your doubts. There are some teachers who would get angry when you ask them questions about something that they feel they have explained quite clearly. They could feel that you are asking them to repeat something only because you were not paying attention. In such cases, you could do is to state the last thing you remember and let the teacher know that you did not understand what followed. Another thing you can do is to convey your doubt as specifically as possible. So this would make the teacher know that you were paying attention and there was indeed something specific that you did not understand. Most of the teachers will not have issues explaining things to students who are intent on learning. When you show that you care about your studies, most teachers wouldn't mind spending an extra few minutes to clarify your doubts. I know it is not easy to stay focused in the class for an entire day of around 5 to 6 hours. There might be times where you drift off for that odd moment which might take your focus off the class. And as long as you are able to get your focus back, it's fine. But if you are having trouble staying focused for a long time, you can watch my video on It is Impossible to Focus, and the link is in the description below. The next reason which could lead to exam anxiety is when your parents keep reminding you that your exams are nearing. But you also need to understand that if you find them on your back constantly pressurizing you to study, it might not always be their mistake. They would only do that out of concern for your studies. Being out in the real world, most people realize the importance of a good education. This is something that most of the students do not fully understand. Now, your parents are not going to be on your back all the time if they realize that you are in control of your studies. Your parents will only pressurize you to study till a certain age. Once they know that you are well on your own, they will have the faith that you are capable of doing it yourself, and they will get back to their own business. But if they do not see you focusing enough and you prove their fears right in every test and exam by scoring low grades, do not be surprised if all you hear from them is about your studies. You can make your life and the life of your parents a lot easier by explaining to them about your plans to tackle your studies. Your plan would be half the story, and unless they see the results, they will still be skeptical. So, if you had your parents on your back all the time, do not expect them to change overnight. If you are committed to your studies, then it is just a matter of time that your parents would back off. So, now that you have understood some of the sources of stress and ideas about taking steps to relieve your anxiety of exams, here is what you can do to be as stress-free as possible for your next exam. First step, do a bit of self-assessment. Categorize your subjects into different groups. Think about which subjects you are good at and which ones you need more time to prepare. When you know a particular subject is not exactly your strength, put a little more effort into it. Start early and aim to understand it as clearly as possible. Again, reach out to the people who can explain things that you do not understand. Now, just because I tell you to put additional efforts into subjects where you are not strong enough, does not mean you ignore the rest. Understand that it is important for you to keep the focus on all the subjects. Do not ignore one just because you would like to focus more on something else. Starting early would mean there would be some room to breathe. You would not have to have your head buried in your books all the time. You would be starting early, so there is no impending hurry that you have to study everything within the next couple of weeks. And also, since you have already studied and understood things beforehand, the last few days of your exams are not going to be as stressful as compared to learning everything in 2 weeks. It is only normal that you feel that there is a lot for you to study, and I have a specific video addressing just that, the overwhelming feeling that there is too much to study, and check out the link in the description below. The next thing, avoid the last minute rush to study. Do not put yourself in a position where you have to learn everything that was taught over a few weeks in few hours. Do not aim to cram things into your head just a few days before the exam. Leaving yourself in this position will only leave you stressed and confused. Think about it. When there is very little time left, what would you do? Who would you run to get your doubts cleared? Who would you explain things to, or who would explain you things? While some others would have learned things well and become a pro, you would be looking at all those things for the first time. I cannot emphasize on this aspect enough that you should always avoid the last minute rush to study. The next most important thing, never clarify your doubts just before the exams. What I have seen is that just before the exams, all the friends start discussing about something, and sometimes there could be multiple answers which would lead to a lot of confusion. So, try not to discuss such confusing topics before the exams. Let them be with what they know, and you learn to be confident with what you know. Any such doubts should be cleared much earlier and not during the exams. I have seen students who get into the last minute discussion, and this would confuse them so much that they would have already forgotten the right answer. And there are some who will confidently give you a wrong answer during discussions. So, stay away from anyone who you know would do something like this before the exams. You already know what you know, and hence be happy with that. This is what will give you the confidence before the exams. As long as you have done your bit, you do not have to worry. If your preparation is good, the results will take care of itself. You just focus on what you know. So, make sure you are with the right people during the exams. Also, stay focused on your preparations. All along the way, and especially during your preparations, you will have those odd people who will discourage you from taking your studies seriously, from telling you there is enough time to study, or go to an extent of mocking your seriousness with studies. They would do anything to get you off track. Some might do that intentionally, and a few unintentionally. They would also go to the extent of telling you that even they are interested in studies and they are taking things easy, so you should do the same as well. They would encourage you to be a part of their fun than study. Now, here is where you have to be smart. I am not the kind of person who believes that you have to turn into a bookworm to excel in your studies. I strongly believe that having fun is an integral part of life. When you plan things well, you won't have to compromise on the fun factor in your life. So have all the fun you want, but your primary focus should be on your studies, especially when your exams are round the corner. Again, when you start soon, you will have enough room for fun as well. However, it is important you do not get drawn to friends who are not going to be very serious with their studies. Now, to know more about this, check out my video on how to choose your friends wisely, and the link is in the description below. The next thing to help you avoid exam anxiety is to stay in the present. When you sit to study, just put your entire focus into learning. Do not think of anything ahead. Do not look at how much more there is to study, how soon you need to finish your chapters. Think of nothing else apart from the fact that you are studying at that point in time. All these would only be distractions, and it would prevent you from learning things well. Thinking about anything else would begin to occupy your mind, and your studies would not get the attention they deserve. Do not worry too much about what questions might come in the exam and which ones will not. This is not for you to decide, is it? One of the biggest rules of stress management is to never worry about things that you do not have any control over. When you do not have control over something, there is nothing that you can do to change it in your favor. All you will do is sit in fear. Instead, do what is in your control, which is to concentrate well and prepare well. Do not waste your time worrying about which questions might come, which might not, so you can skip things that you feel aren't important. Instead, focus on learning everything. You should have all the knowledge required on the subjects before your exams. And before the day of your exams, you should be one confident person who knows that you already know everything that is required. No half-baked studying. Do not move to another topic until you have mastered the previous one. Clarify all your doubts, even if it is the smallest of the doubts you have. More the knowledge you have, more the confidence you will gain, and lesser the stress. Lesser knowledge will only lead you to get more stressed before your exams, and all you will be thinking about is what if only those questions come that you are not prepared for. Be prepared to an extent where on the day of the exam, all you need to do is just go over the key points of some of the topics that you found most challenging. Never put yourself in a position where you have to learn something during the day of the exam. If your friends know what you do not know, it is still fine. Do not worry that they know better than you. They have done their work and hence they know better than you. And so take this as learning so you can also start learning like them. And now is not the time for this, but this is for a later stage. For now, focus on what you know and recollect it in your mind. The next thing is to learn to relax. It is very important that you do not burn yourself out. Just as being less focused is harmful, being over-focused can also be harmful. You cannot keep going full throttle all the time. It is important that you refresh your mind. As you study, take short breaks as well. You can come back and refocus. Once your mind is calmer, you will be able to recollect everything that you have studied easily because your mind is now focused on what you have studied and will provide the information you need. When you feel anxious, simple breathing techniques will help you relax, remain focused, and stop your mind from running through 1,000 thoughts. Take deep breaths and stay focused on your breath. Feel the air getting into your lungs and getting out of your lungs. Do not think of anything else. Anytime you find yourself thinking about anything else, bring your attention back to your breath again. This will calm your mind and your anxiety will go down because what is causing you to get stressed and worried is not on your mind now. You will find yourself calming down immediately because there is more oxygen supply to your brain and your mind will calm itself down. You can also make this a habit every time you think you are going to get stressed and are getting anxious. This is a technique that most of the successful people use to calm themselves down. Make deep breathing a habit. It will help you in all situations. Use it before studying, after studying, while playing, when you get tensed, when you are not able to focus, or every time you think you are not in the right frame of mind. Start deep breathing and then see how everything falls into place. However, it all boils down to the same thing that you need to prepare well. Create a proper plan for yourself. Learn to break your studies down into smaller portions and set a time frame as to when you would want to finish that by. Have a set target and try to make sure that you stick with the deadlines you set for yourself. All you need to do is plan well and adhere to the plan. As you do that, you will know that you are on the right track. This will help you stay calm. To learn more about how to break your topics down to manageable pieces, I have a video posted and you can watch the video and the link is in the description. Lastly, get good rest. Aim to get a good amount of sleep every day. Make this a priority, especially during exams. Sleep is a superpower that has the ability to rejuvenate your mind and body like no other. So make sleep a priority as well. Have a good sleep before the day of your exams because it will relax your mind. A relaxed mind will lead to an active body and an active body will lead to an active brain. So, before your exams, avoid late nights. You now know how to avoid exam anxiety before your exams. But what do you do after your exam? You do not want to get tensed again, right? So, stop discussing the answers with your friends and how the question paper was. You cannot do anything about something that is already over. So, finish your exams and then get ready for the next one rather than going back and thinking if you did the exam well or not. Let a bad exam not act as a detriment for your other exams. So once done, leave it and move on. The most important thing is to look at the reasons why you did not excel and learn to put things in place in the future so you do not face exam anxiety again. Little anxiety is normal, do not worry. Always remember, keep learning from your mistakes and that will make you a better individual. Exams are something that you need not fear. If you learn to deal it with the right way, exams are a great tool to check one's abilities. Getting better grades can help you get into top colleges, which will open the doors to a life most people can only dream of. Academic success is seen as a proof that a person has high knowledge. You can either hope to get an opportunity to prove your intelligence elsewhere, or you can let the results in your exams do the talking. Just start taking the first step and you will see how much more you are capable of. Having a goal and a relentless attitude to make things work will take you a long way. If you are looking to take yourself to the next level, if you want to excel at your studies and not feel burdened by it, you can get in touch with me, and the contact information is in the link below. I can conduct one-on-one exclusive sessions for you, or if you, along with some of your friends, are interested in taking up coaching sessions as a group, you can get in touch with me. And remember to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. Simple as that, for more such informative videos.